and now we're tiptoeing around your feelings?
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
like, that is insane. All right, welcome to our couch. Today we have a little unusual kind of video to check out. It just kind of shows how we're not in the best shape as a country right now. Lex has not seen this video, by the way, but I saw it. I was like, oh, Lex, let's do this. So here we are. Let's get into it.
Justin here, and today we're in the beautiful Times Square in New York City, doing a collab with Fleckus Talks. We're just gonna go around and ask people, see if they know anything at all. Can you name the continents?
What the f? No? Bitch, like, isn't it like Alaska? I got it right, you see Alaska? Like, New Jersey? Alaska?
Yeah.
You see it?
So you got Alaska, New Jersey.
Hawaii?
Yes. What's Obama's last name? Wait, the president, Obama, what's his last name? Quick. Just say it.
I don't...
Say it. Say it.
Obama. What is his last name?
I'm asking you, just say it. First thing.
His last name?
Say it.
What, his first name? I don't know. What is his last name?
What's 6 times 7?
6 times 7?
Yeah.
48.
What does Y-E-S spell?
Y-E-S?
Yeah.
Y-E-S. I don't know. What the What? You'd say.
What does Y-E-S spell?
West, right? West?
Okay, what do you think so far?
okay, no, people can't be this dumb.
I mean, okay, you gotta think about it. When you do a video like this, you're gonna probably ask hundreds of people questions, and you're gonna get the dumbest answers. You know what I mean? So it's very possible, but also these people are under pressure. You know, they know they're being recorded and stuff, so some stuff I'm sure that people know.
Like that one kid that was like, Obama, and then like he started to say it. He was like, oh, and then he was confused. Sometimes I feel like it's such a simple question that the person is going to be like, he obviously asked me more than this.
Still, if someone asked you that, no matter how much pressure you were under,
duh,
you're going to say, oh, his last name is Obama. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like there is a degree of it where it's like, no, this is just young people modern day.
Man, when dude said 6 times 7, 48 or whatever, I was like, oh my God. Oh man. Goodness. Cause like he was too grown for that. Some of these people, like those girls that were like, I don't know the continents. It's like, there's an era of life where it's like cool to be dumb, I guess. But like.
Okay, but then when was the last time he did his times tables or whatever it's called? I don't remember what it's called. From back in school,
I mean,
you know, you do the little multiplication
bills?
tables.
Does he look at his bank account ever?
I mean,
like,
but when's the last time he used multiplication?
I mean, yeah, but you just think 7 days a week. Okay, if you did something 6 times, how many? Like, I don't know. I feel like you use these things. It's not, this is a simple question. It's not like.
I know, I played a little devil's advocate here because, I mean, it's not so clear cut and dry. It's like, oh, everyone's super stupid.
Man.
No, it's a little bit of that, like the continents. The continents.
She said Hawaii, and then he was like, yes. And she was like, I got it right. But honestly, I know some people who would do that same thing, so.
Yeah, but so to me, this points to like a clear-cut failure of our school system.
But also, all these things were taught in school. So like the fact that these people don't, these basic things, yes, 6 times 7, and like the continents, yes. Now countries, maybe not.
Well, maybe we need to teach things in a different way so people remember it.
Okay.
Maybe like our culture, the culture too, 'cause not just the school system, the culture, our culture is not one that puts a heavy emphasis on education.
Absolutely not.
Like, you know, other cultures around the world, they put a real strong emphasis on education. Right. But like American culture, it doesn't really have that big of an emphasis on it. But then I also get why, because like school is not that
consequential to your long-term happiness and success.
Well, I mean, statistically, I would say it is.
But is it school or
but I feel like the public school system's not that great.
Right.
So it's like, why put a heavy emphasis on you need to go to school, get good grades, listen to your teacher, when you have woke teachers over here telling you who you should vote for and what kind of groups you should support. And if you say anything bad about anyone in LGBTQ, they're gonna come after you. Like,
I hate Donald Trump. I'm gonna say it. I don't care what y'all think. Trump sucks. What's wrong with Trump? He is a sexual predator. He's a literal moron. Go tattle on me to the freaking admin. They don't give a crap. Most of y'all parents are dumber than you. I'm going to say that out loud. You don't have to do everything your parents say, and you don't have to believe everything your parents believe. If you don't believe in climate change, get the hell out. You're the problem with the world. If you're a homophobe, get out. Thank you. Because I am the GSA faculty advisor. I love gay people. All LGBTQIA plus mother white person. If you don't like it, get out. If I hear you say a damn word against any of them, I will open a can. And I will make your life a living hell.
You have teachers like that, how could you possibly say, hey kids, go to school, listen to your teacher, you should do good at school, you'll get good grades, and then you're gonna do great in life? Like, you couldn't. You couldn't in good faith look your kids in the eye and say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, these are deeper issues.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I'll give you $1 if you can name a single continent.
USA.
Who did we gain our independence from?
I don't know. Didn't they go to war?
Yeah, who did we fight against?
Everybody. I don't even know.
Take a guess. What country?
Korea.
Yes. The 69th president of the United States of America.
69th. Richard Nixon.
Okay, so the American history questions. What do you think about that?
It's just this is just weird. Okay, so this is what I really think about it. These people answering these questions have not developed the faculty of like critical thinking. Like they don't actually know, like they've memorized a lot of stuff, but then their memory can only like help them so much.
But I mean, but this is about memory. It's to figure out who America gained its independence from. You don't need critical thinking. You need to remember that fact.
Right,
you know
need to
what I mean?
remember it. But I think that to sometimes access deep memories that were from long ago and like information that wasn't, you know what I mean? I feel like sometimes you have to like sit there and think for a second. You can't just be walking around like,
right, like Korea, that was a brain dead answer.
Right, it was. Like
you,
they're not even trying.
I get what you're saying. If you use critical thinking, you think, was Korea ever strong enough to have college?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because it's like the average American isn't walking around thinking about these things. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like on an average day, it's like you're not really going to encounter the necessity for this pieces of information. But it's like if you just thought for a few seconds, you could figure it out. You know, but they're not even trying.
Yeah, it's to me this issue right here is we don't have a strong sense of cultural pride overall. There are plenty of people who are very patriotic. You know what I mean? And immigrants are some of the most patriotic people you'll ever meet.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But like overall, America's not. I would say just one big patriotic country. Like we all love America. We're proud of our history and that kind of thing. So I think it'd be very easy to go interview people and ask questions like this, and they have no idea. You know what I mean? Who's the 69th president? Who we get our independence from? I think it'd be very easy. If you had cultural pride, then you would be embarrassed if you didn't know these answers.
Right. Like the people in North Korea, all they know is their nation's information.
Okay, that's a little too much cultural pride. You know what I mean?
I mean, according to...
I don't want to be that level.
Yeah. I mean, it's... Wow. This is amazing.
How many make up 1 dozen?
How many make up 1 dozen? Let me see. 100?
Yes. What is Obama's last name?
Obama. Care. Care. Care.
What?
Like C-A-R-E.
Obama's last name, the president.
Care.
If you're driving 60 miles an hour and you drive for 1 hour, how far do you travel?
A mile.
Yes. I'll give you this $1 if you can name 1 continent.
What?
USA. Continent. I don't know.
Congratulations! 60 miles an hour and you drive for 1 hour, how far do you travel?
1 mile.
Who fought in the Civil War?
What?
Soldiers.
Who against who?
America and France.
Who fought in the Civil War?
I don't know that one. I don't know.
Take a guess. Who against who?
Civil War.
You know this.
No, I don't.
Dig deep.
Civil War. Hey y'all, who fought in the Civil War? Cam.
Who fought in the Civil War? Who fought in the Civil War? Yeah. I forgot, honestly.
Take a guess. Who against who?
It was the U.S. and the Japanese.
No way you got that right. You just guessed?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. We can't watch this whole video. It'd be too long. But if you guys want to see the rest of that video, the link will be in the description.
I can't believe this. I can't believe this.
So what do you think so far?
It's just like these same people will be super woke and super like they will fight you tooth and nail that, you know, Donald Trump's a racist and like all these different things, you know, in the media. Like Black Lives Matter is not, you know, a political organization. Like they'll just fight you tooth and nail. But then like basic, you know, simple, like it's just very strange because it's like I was just literally thinking I want to take these questions and ask. I have some people in mind. I want to see.
We should totally do that.
Because at the point that they like that should be honestly when you meet people modern day should be like precursor to having a conversation with me. It should be, can you answer these questions? And if you can't answer these questions, whatever answers you give me are going to tell me if this is going to be a meaningful conversation or not. Because most likely if you give me any of these, you know, 60 miles an hour, how far do you travel? 1 mile. If you give me that answer, then I already know that I'm wasting my breath.
Yeah, for sure. We should totally ask people who was the 69th president of the United States.
That's
Or just make up a number. Who was the 100th? You know what I mean?
That's just funny. People did ask you.
Or who was the first president of the United States? That's a very
Yeah.
easy answer. People might not know.
And it's like, I don't even think, like, I think, yes, if there's cultural pride, people would be able to answer these questions. But I don't even think it's that people just hate America. I think it's literally people have not developed their critical thinking abilities to where they just dumb answer by default. Like, they just
That too.
cannot access, like, they cannot connect the dots of, like, how we got here.
We live in the smartphone generation. You never have to think for yourself.
Yeah. Which, it's
Or if
like...
you go 60 miles per hour in 1 hour, how far do you go? Oh, I'll just Google it. You know what I mean? You
Right.
can't Google it in an interview. This
It
is
is.
insane. But you know what I think? Every time I see something like crazy stupid on the internet,
What?
I always think these people vote. Or at least they have the ability to vote. And then I get real crazy and I'm like, you know what? we should have, I do. And I know it's wrong, but I think these thoughts, I think, you know what? We should have a test you have to pass to be able to vote. Like, how can you know what I mean? And I know that's not a good idea. It'd be very easy to discriminate against people, stuff like that.
Right.
But the thought always goes through my head and then I'm like, you know, that's not a good idea. It'd be super easy to discriminate. Yeah, all these kind of things. But it's like, dang. It's like, how can you vote for a country you know nothing about the history of? So you don't know where we've had missteps and how, you know, the government does the same thing over and over. They ask for an inch, they take a mile every time. Now, you know nothing about history. So now the government's asking for an inch. Oh, we just want to ban a high capacity magazine. Oh, we just want to ban ARs. You know, they want an inch. You know how that's going to end if you know anything about history. You know what I mean? Oh, just 2 weeks to slow the spread. 2 weeks to slow the spread.
Right.
Here we are. Over a year later. The government gets more and more power. It goes from 2 weeks to 2 months. A year later, we're still in this. 2 years later, we probably still will be.
Right. Yeah.
It'll be over once we get the
Yeah,
vaccine.
I mean-
Once we get the vaccine, it'll be over. We have the vaccine. It's not over.
Right.
Now you have to take it. The vaccine is going to
It's
save us.
crazy.
Now you need a booster. Now you need another booster. You know what I mean? Now we're mandating you have to have the vaccine to do anything.
But
It's
see,
like
you know
whenever
what
the
problem
government.
is, though?
What?
The problem is that any one of those examples you just gave, right, that can slap somebody to where they're like, oh man, wait a minute. That is true. And everything else you said will be too much to comprehend and internalize in one sitting. And so they've got these people to a point where they're just completely, you know, zombified. And, you know, all the facts that you're saying, it's like they're not going to hear it. You can't really give like a big picture idea of like the chaos that we're in right now. But it's going to take way too long to like bring people up to date.
Right.
Like, we don't have that much time.
It's just a scary thought that you could be
It is.
like. It's great that everyone has the right to vote, you know what I mean? But it's scary.
You know what
It's a
I
scary
think?
thought that these people can be deciding my future and what
Yeah.
rights I will and will not
And
have.
there are children. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
That's crazy.
But you know what I think when I see stuff like this?
What?
I think that a fool is the easiest to weaponize to basically, you know, take action that is against their self-interest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's easy to take advantage of a foolish person.
Yeah.
And there are criminals, like psychopaths, like super fast, super savvy people that are running, you know, these corporations and these, you know, different political agencies and whatever, to where it's like they don't even have to do all that much to manipulate these people.
Right.
And then they just also have, it's like literally they've hedged their bet. They've literally poisoned the education system so people don't get smarter, you know, they don't get that much smarter. And then they've also, you know, poisoned the marketing and the foods and all that stuff to get people kind of distracted.
I mean, if a person doesn't have the ability to, you know, engage in critical thinking, all you have to do is expose them to a certain information
Emotional
in a certain
triggers.
way.
Yeah.
What is it, 7 to 21 times or so, and then they're very likely to believe it. Like, it's not 100%. You don't just believe everything you see repeatedly, but you're more likely to believe it the more you see it. And to me, the less ability you have to critically think, then you're going to definitely just lap it up and believe it.
But that's why I think these social media companies are able to get away with so much. Like, they're able to literally steal your information, sell it to someone else, that someone else is able to put an ad in front of you over and over and over and over, to where you basically are being, like, you know, inundated with buy this, spend your money on this. And then they can leak your information, somebody steals it, steals your identity, and they pay you $2. Like, sorry.
Right. Class action lawsuit. Oh, you get $2, you know? The lawyers get $10 million, and
and such is life. Like, the reason why they can get away with so much is because people are not, like, sharp with it. You know what I mean? Some people are. Some people truly are. But it's like, this exemplifies, you know, I think a large portion of people modern day. And meanwhile, he's wearing a $50 jacket and a $25 hat. And you know what I mean? Got his face mask on.
Yeah, it's wild. It is wild.
People have the freedom and independence to go out and educate themselves, and then they choose not to, and they choose to, you know, be, you know, basically a non-participating member of society, except through marketing. It's like, that's basically that person is giving their independence up to a company, or giving their free will to, you know, whatever random business entity or pharmaceutical company that they're trusting.
Right.
You know? So it's like, basically then that means the rest of us are sitting here with pharmaceutical companies and all these different industries weaponizing themselves against people who choose to think for themselves. And eventually, how does that not get to a level where, like, they have numbers on us? Like, they...
I mean, I think they do. Don't you think?
It seems like it, but I mean...
The amount of people, at the top who want to control everyone, right?
Okay.
Plus, the number of people at the bottom who have no critical thinking ability, it definitely outweighs the people who are like, hey, this is wrong. This shouldn't be going on. They're trying to get too much power right now. They're never going to give that power back. You know what I mean? Like, that number of people, that's the minority, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Because when you really think about it, it's like, how many people at the top are not corrupt? Like, how many voices can we actually trust to do the right thing? From celebrities to politicians to, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you can count that number on one hand or less.
So it's like, in actuality, anybody who gets substantial power ends up being very untrustworthy and corrupt, for the most part.
I wouldn't say anybody.
But, I mean, 95%. Like, if you can count that number on one hand or less, then it's gotta be. I mean, there's thousands of these people. So.
Yeah, percentage-wise, yeah.
It's
pretty bad.
I'm sure there's a lot of quiet money. There's a lot of wealthy people who keep to themselves and are not in the media and not, you know,
well, that's the thing. All the sane people say, you know what, I don't want to go into politics. That's a dirty game. Right. So you're left with all the psychopaths going into politics.
Pretty much.
And all they want to do is get more power, more money, more power, more money.
Politics or CEOs of large companies. Like, literally, politics are business. But, I mean, it's known that, like, to be, like, top level and a lot of times it really, you know, publicly traded corporations stuff, those people are psychopaths. Like, it's known that that's, like, a common career for a psychopath.
Right.
So, I mean, there's many levels to this, man. Because it's like you said, normal people don't want these problems. It's like, I wouldn't even, like, I can't even, my mom is a school teacher. Your mom is a school teacher. Modern day, I cannot even conceive of that being a career that I would ever, you know, want to go into or recommend, because it seems like so much pressure to do the right thing versus just repeat what we're telling you. And it's like, at what point, like, in a course of 40 years in a career, they're bound to do something that goes against what feels right to you. When especially they're being like, there's like such an agenda modern day, you know? And then you have to take personal risk of, like, ruining your 401k or your, you know, retirement security, whatever, your social standing, because you don't want to just acquiesce to critical race theory teaching. Or, you know what I mean? Something like that. So, I mean, it's very tricky because it's like, I think, cause even a lot of doctors, I find that as time passes, I trust doctors less. Just because I start to see the pharmaceutical industry is treat the symptom, not the problem, kind of, cycle it, pay the dividend, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, It's just like, man, all of the stuff we need for society to function is being ran by corruption.
Facts. You went on quite the tear
Oh my gosh! Don't get me started. Oh my gosh! But yeah.
But yeah, this is society we live in modern day.
I was literally thinking the other day, do they still flunk people?
I don't know. They might not because it's probably too offensive. They don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I just saw the other day that there was somewhere in Wisconsin, or I think it was Wisconsin, where they changed inmates. They don't call them inmates, they call them residents because they don't want to offend the inmates.
What?
I don't know where I saw this, but I'll try and dig up a screenshot. I can't remember. You can take in so much information every day, it's hard to remember which source is what. I don't know.
I've seen ex-con channels on YouTube where they literally say, you know what, I broke the law, and it's like, that's part of the game you play. You know what you're getting into. I deserved to be in prison. I'm glad I'm out. So it's like to literally let them like to literally go from like this is punishment to like, oh no, but we're being too hard on the people we're punishing. Oh my god. At one point there was like a sort of certain things you cannot come back from, universally agreed upon death penalty type mindset.
Right.
But it's like when you keep pushing that bar of like what's acceptable, how do you ever come back from that? How do young people develop the values to like be decent people in society and live a good life?
They don't. I mean, it's just a complete farce to like, you probably violated someone. You at least broke the law, right? And a lot of you have violated people's rights. Some of you have even killed people.
Right.
And now we're tiptoeing around your feelings?
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
like, that is insane.
Devil's advocate, though, the reason why we're at this point is because you have people going to prison for life over very petty drug crimes. And, like, you had people getting falsely accused of crimes they didn't commit. And you know what I mean? Like, the corruption was deep. And so what happens? On one side of the fence, corruption's deep. Boom. So now, okay, we start backing off. We start, paying more attention, da-da-da. And then the other side, it's like the crazy people, no matter where they are, find a way to get ahead in society. Like, they find a way to get things done and to, like, corrupt everything.
Yeah, but I mean, what does that have to do with calling inmates residents?
I mean,
because there used to be corruption, people got long.
Well, no,
sentences.
I'm saying now people have taken it to the opposite extreme, to where it's like corruption on the side of going too easy on criminals. We're praising criminality now a little bit more than I feel like it's the ricochet. It's like we boomeranged in the opposite direction. So now it's like it went from corruption, like people getting sentenced way too heavy, to like people getting not as heavy of a social judgment, at least. Socially getting passes for things and stuff like that should never be.
I mean, yeah, stupidity is a huge problem in America right now, and I don't know. How can we help with this? I don't know. Because you can't forcefully educate. You can't do any kind of crazy stuff.
And also,
you know what I mean?
Can't hear you.
But it's like, how do you get millions of people to like value? I want to say being smart, but it's not even smart. Just value knowing like the history of your country, just basic things. You know what I mean? How do you get millions of people to value that without violating people's rights?
I know how. How they got people to not value it. And how they stupefied people. So basically the media had to start encouraging and making it part of the culture. I think literally for the that's how they dumb people down with the media. Yeah, and education. I think literally the next generation. Well, I mean the people now, the older people. Oh, I think it's shot. I think it's... But what if the media started valuing, making things like this cool, making it the end thing? A lot of these people would just be essentially brainwashed to think other things were cool. But I don't think they would just develop critical thinking. Not critical thinking, I mean just like to learn something. Yeah. I mean, I think the problem is that learning, I feel like the brain is malleable and it's, fleshy and always changing and stuff up into a point, but around 25, it seems like it starts to slow down. I mean, I'm not asking them to learn another language. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm asking them to know who fought in the Civil War. Yeah. I'm asking them to learn how the government likes to take your rights. Well, you know what I mean? Learn like after 9/11, you have the Patriot Act.
You know what I mean? Like, we
but
live under
this
mass
is-
surveillance. Our rights are
Yeah.
violated all the time.
All the
You need to
time.
learn about these things.
But this is my thing.
Like, oh, we have a tragedy, government takes your rights. Now we have a pandemic. What is the government going to do? They never waste a tragedy or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just learn basic things so you don't give up our rights, because we like our rights.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't want a mass amount of stupid people to ruin it for us.
I get you. I just think that the problem that led to this, like our parents' generation even, is that people didn't care. So they were memorizing different things, and so like it shows in their values, and it shows in like, you know, how people got along in society and whatnot. But it's like that's easily, you could just tweak it just a little bit. It's easily manipulated. Like they didn't care. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you get people to care? I have no idea. But yeah, you can get them to memorize different things. Just show them different TV shows, different commercials, and in 5 to 10 years, they'll have a whole different set of beliefs. But will they care? I don't know.
Well, I don't mean like put the information on commercials. I mean, the media, they're very savvy. You know what I mean? They know how to do things. And they would never do this. I'm dreaming. But I'm saying if they just made it like, okay, in a big movie, someone's getting made fun of for not knowing basic questions like who fought in the Civil War.
Right.
And you know, to me, like, oh, you're a loser if you don't know
Right.
your own history. You don't know your rights.
Right.
What's the First Amendment? Person can't answer.
Right.
Oh, they get made fun of in the media versus praised for being a criminal.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's all it would take, really.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying subtle things like that, the way the media brainwashes people.
Right. I think reverse engineer the whole way they got it to be this way, and you just put subtle clues and different, you know.
Like, people will watch that and be like, dang, I don't know. What does the First Amendment protect? I have no idea. I might want to look that up. I don't want to be seen like a fool. You know what I mean? I might want to look up more things about history.
Yeah.
What's the Second Amendment? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just
so
thinking out
wild.
loud.
It's so crazy.
But this is ridiculous.
It is.
I don't know. Tell me, man, what do you know? What do you know? Me and my boys on the road. Who to go? She told me, boy, you to go. Like, I don't know. But I don't know.